YouTube, what is going on? Today we want to talk about fake Pokemon cards and how you can identify them so that way you don't end up buying cards that you thought were real and end up being fake. Now the reason I wanted to do this video is two reasons. First, Pokemon cards are booming right now, so obviously I want to make sure that anybody who's buying cards is not getting scammed. Nobody wants to lose their hard-earned money, and be taken advantage of because of the rising popularity of something. And part two is because I recently went to a garage sale, bought a lot of Pokemon cards, about 700 cards for like $80. I don't remember what that comes out to on a per card basis, but it was relatively cheap. I really was buying it more for like, my eBay shop and my TCG player shop. But within that lot, there were some fake Pokemon cards. So I definitely wanted to bring it to everybody's attention, kind of show the difference. Now in the lot, there was, unless I went through every single card, there was no way I was going to be able to spot, the fakes, just the way the lot was set up at the garage sale and whatnot. But hopefully if you ever see cards that look like this, you'll know immediately they're fake and you shouldn't go ahead and buy them. So let me change the view. Right now we're going to look at two cards. I actually got both of these cards. They are, well, the same card in this garage sale lot. Now this card here is real. This card here is fake. So some quick things we can identify between the two cards. If you just look at them, the card on the left, the outline of the Turtonator is blue. On this card, the fake, it's black. So if you look, like the outline of all of that, it's blue on the real card. Now, obviously, you would have to know that the real card is blue to identify that, where this one, it's black. Now, one of the dead giveaways and one of the best ways to identify real cards versus fake cards, at least when it comes to the full arts, is if you look at this card, and as I move it closer to the camera, you can see there's texture on it. You can kind of see that there's this texture, these lines, and you can actually feel it if you rub your finger across it. You can actually feel this texture. Now, if I set that one down, and we look at this one, right, very clear there is no texture to this, right? You can hear that. There's nothing to this card. There's no texture at all. So a couple other things I want to note, at least on this specific card. If you look at where it says basic in the top left corner, look at the difference between the two of them. They are obviously different. Also, the text that Turtonator is written in is different. This real card is outlined in white. This fake one, very, very little white outline. Another thing to look at, same thing can be said with the HP in the top right corner here. If we look at this, very little white outline versus much more white outline. Now that text actually plays out throughout the card. If you look at the card, you can tell that there's a lot more white outline on the real card than on the fake one. Now another thing, you can look at the back, and you can tell this one here at the top, it's easier to feel it with your hands, but you can kind of see when I put them side by side, this coloring is off, and look at how much this card reflects, right? Look at the reflection we're getting off of this card. I know we're still getting some off the one on the left, but this one over here, I mean, is much more reflective. And really when you put your finger on it, obviously I know you guys are watching a video, you can't do that. But if you have a real card in your hand and a fake one, this doesn't even feel similar. This feels so much slicker and almost like laminated paper, where this one, feels more like your traditional cardboard. So I do have some other cards I just want to show you that are real versus fake. I am going to sleeve this one back up because it is a full art. So I got some other real cards. We did get this Charizard GX card, which I think was the promo from, if I recall, Hidden Fates. You can see as I move it, you can see the texture there. So we know that this Charizard is real. Now these cards, some of these GX cards, are a little bit more difficult to identify real cards, but I will show you one of the best ways. As we move this card around, you can see the holographic in it. None of the holographic is actually on Lycanroc. I know his eyes have some holo and the rocks that are in front of him, but on the Pokemon itself, it does not have any holographic. So I say that because some of these other ones, and let me see if I can find one over here real quick. Some of these other cards that had this are much more straight up and down. Like the holo was across the entire card. It wasn't just you know, on the background. So I had one and I don't know where I put it. Oh, that wasn't the one I wanted. Sorry about this. Let me see if this card does it. Let me see if this one kind of does it in the camera. This is a different Lycanroc. Doesn't look like it. But for the most part, like this holo, I mean, this holo should have, it's fake because it doesn't have the texture in the back. But usually when you do this sort of thing, the holographic goes across the entire card. But that is one of the things to look for in the Lycanroc that we just looked at, is to keep an eye out for making sure that the holographic is just in the background of the card and not, you know, as you move it back and forth, it doesn't, you know, go over top of the Pokemon. So we have another one. Similarly, we have this Ho-Oh GX, which as you can see as we move it, it's really not going on top of Ho-Oh. It's just in the background. It has some extra, I have it in the sleeve, which is why you're getting more of a reflection off of this card. But as I move it around, you can see, you know, the holo is in the back. Again, another thing you can do is if you ever have a card you're in question of, you can pull up, you know, eBay or TCG Player, Troll and Toad, wherever, and you can start looking at what the real cards look like and start matching, you know, what does the basic look like? What does the name and the outline look like? Does the text match? Another thing to keep an eye out, does the weakness match? I've noticed on a lot of these fakes, the weakness isn't the same as the real card, so that's also a good way. But a lot of it, you know, is just being careful when you're buying on the secondary market. Obviously, depending on what you're buying, you know, do your homework, make sure you know what the card is before you buy it. Again, we have this Kingdra here, EX. You can see the texture on the Kingdra throughout the card, so we feel good about that one. Then we also have this Mewtwo EX, which as you can see, texture throughout. And just another one, we have another Kingdra GX, which as you can see, as soon as I put it under the camera, you can see that texture in the background on these full arts. I have a couple other fake cards over here. Here's another Ho-Oh, right? As you can see immediately, there is no texture here in the back. Pretty easy to spot this one. I'm trying to see if I can get one of these cards to do the whole holo across the whole thing. You can also pretty much tell in the back. Seeing if any of these cards I just pulled up, you know, this one here is real on the right, and it's even in a case. The colors do look slightly different. This one actually doesn't look too different, but the feel of this Ho-Oh is very a dead giveaway. Same thing with this Machamp. Should have texture in the back, doesn't. Again, texture, the slickness of the card on the back. These two trainer cards, I don't believe there are any gold ones. There might be very few, but like gold rare, and I'm not talking about like the gold secret rares. If that's the case, obviously they should be textured. So I guess there are gold cards, but again, no texture on this. You can kind of see that this one tried. This, what is this called? Lily tried. If you look really close, you can kind of see that's probably what the texture would look like in that pattern. But as you see, there is no actual texture. Same thing with this Team Skull Grunt. You can just see how reflective this card is. You can kind of see it on Lily's hat right now. The holo is on the hat. So if this card was real, chances are there would not be any holographic reflection in the hat, because usually the holo is in the background. Now, one other thing I did want to point out, let me see if I can find... Oh, perfect, I just picked one up. One other thing that I noticed with a lot of these fake cards is if you look at the back and you look right here, right in this section, right in here, there's usually a little white dot. So if we put it next to it, see this dot right there? It's not on the fake card, or if it is, it's very washed out. So when you look at the back, you can tell that this one's fake because look at how much more red the Pokeball is, and also the little dot on the real card, which is this Ho-Oh we were looking at earlier. The little white dot that's on the Ho-Oh is not on the card. That's fake. So again, another small indication that, you know, this card here is fake. As you can see, this thing is just, as I move it, the holo is on top of everything. This card just feels very, I don't know, it doesn't feel even remotely real. So that's just, I hope some of that helps. Again, I focused mostly on the holos, the GX, EX, full art type cards, because those are obviously, you know, the more valuable ones, at least in today's Pokemon collecting world. We do have like an older Mew here. Again, the best way with these cards is making sure, well, the numbers match. You can do that on any one. Does the number match, you know, what the real card is? Do the weaknesses and, you know, all this stuff match? Your fonts, a lot of times, is a good way to do it. Just making sure everything looks good on it. You know, the holo, making sure the holo, again, is always in the background, that type of stuff. Checking the back of the card. This one happens to be in a sleeve with a black back to it. But, you know, these are a little bit, I don't want to say tougher to identify. There's just less giveaways. And, you know, in today's world, they don't make, I shouldn't say don't make, the more expensive cards tend to be the full arts. So that's why I decided to kind of, you know, focus on, you know, finding these as real and not getting stuck with, you know, a card that looks similar to the real one. If we, you know, go full circle here, we want the real card, not this. And, you know, at first glance, at a distance, it's pretty easy to think that, you know, hey, this looks good. But obviously upon closer inspection, it's really not. So again, I hope you all found this video helpful. If there's anything else, if you have any other tips to identify fake cards, please drop them in the comments. Want everybody to be able to find, you know, cards that they're very happy with and whatnot. So with that, everybody, thank you so much for watching the video. I appreciate all the support. If you would, please drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate that. And also, if you are looking for cards, we do have an eBay shop. Now we're working on a website, and we do have a TCG Player seller account. Obviously, none of these fakes will be on there. They are going into a tin and just going into my closet so that they don't end up in circulation. But with that, thank you all once again for watching, and I hope you all have a great day. Thanks.